everyone, welcome to lesson 1 of iCamma's Karate at Home. Today we're going to start talking about the basics and demonstrate some basic techniques that we have a better understanding of how to execute these basic movements, the understanding of the terminology, also how to properly position your body so that way you're well adjusted to the environment around you, as well as learning how to properly perform these movements, just because we want to make sure you're safe. And of course, you're learning how to do it properly. So let's begin. First, we're going to start off by keeping our feet together, almost like a little V letter, with our heels touching each other, hands at our sides. This is a proper way how we show respect and how we say hello. It's basically saying hello like this. Os! A strong os from the core. Not really yelling it because you might hurt your throat that way. So let's try it together. Os! Try it a few more times. Don't worry, I'm sure your mom won't bother you. So again, os, okay? When we're in a ready position, we pretty much bring our hands together, almost like an X pattern, and bring it down apart. This is how we show that we're in a ready stance. So let's try this again. From our stance, we're gonna go yoi. Yoi is basically a term in Japanese that means that we're ready to begin. Sometimes you might hear another word used called hachidachi. Basically, they mean the same thing, but sometimes you might use them a little differently. So let's try it. Yoi. Body straight, eyes focused. So let's think about it this way. We're in this stance, we think about 3 types of focus. Body focus, mind focus, and eye focus. Think about it for a moment. Body focus. You're very still, like a statue, a soldier. Mind focus. You're very focused on what you're doing, whether it's maybe homework or, in this case, our lesson. And eye focus. You're not looking around, distracted, you're not playing with anything else. Os? Os. So, anytime you hear me say os, almost like a question, I'm waiting for your response as an acknowledgement. You can say os as, yes, I understand. So if I say os, you respond with a os. Os? Good. So I'm going to bring in my trusty assistant, Sensei Jay. So he's going to help us demonstrate some of these movements together. Jay? Os. Okay. Sometimes we shake hands together, but usually we bow to show respect, and we also say hello that way. Again, we keep our feet in a V pattern, only our heels touching together, hands at our sides, and we bow. Os. Now make sure you're close enough, but not too close as you bump heads. You don't want to hit each other's heads. Os? Os. Okay, because that might hurt a little bit. Just a little bit. Yeah. So, let's start. We're going to start with the basic stance, which is called the hachidachi stance, which again is a ready stance. Hachidachi. Okay, so I'm going to have my trusty assistant, Jay, demonstrate. All right. So he's just going to bring his arms across and bring them down. Hachidachi. Down. This. Strong posture. Right. So just make sure when you go into this stance, say aloud, os. Right. So let's try it again. Os. Strong. Intimidating. Right. So again, the arms come across like an X pattern and os. Os. Good. So we're going to start off going into the first stance, which is a basic front stance. Okay. So in this case, we'll start with our left leg in front. The left leg is bent, the right leg is totally straight. As you can see, Jay is basically in a front stance. Make sure you have very good balance by keeping both feet at least hip width or shoulder width apart. What that means is, if his feet are too close together, it looks like he's on a tightrope. He has no balance. So if I push my hands, he's going to fall over. I'm okay. I'm okay. He's okay. You want to make sure you are hip width or shoulder width apart in your front stance. It's very important. It's a very good indicator of how much balance you have and how strong your stance will be. So always make sure, if you look down, you should have some space between your lead foot and your back foot as well. Os. 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 Good. Now, when we move forward, it's almost as if we're moving in a half moon pattern. Or you can think of it as a banana shape. So if we have one foot in front, the other foot back, we can try putting our hands on our hips for now. So I'm going to have my assistant Jay demonstrate. He's going to bring his right foot, which is in back, up to his left. Good. And when he steps forward again, it comes outward. Good. So, just like that. He's going to take it one more step forward. And then out. Now, he's going to try stepping backwards in the same movement.
Okay.
Now, make sure when you're stepping backwards, you still end up with a front stance. Basically, that means keeping the lead leg bent. If you look down, you shouldn't really be able to see your toes. If you do, you got to push that knee a little bit further in front. Us.
Us.
Okay, so we'll only take one more step back.
All right.
In the front stance. All right.
So it's here.
Us.
Us.
Now, just make sure when you're in this front stance, the back foot, the heel is not off the floor, it's down. Us.
Us.
Okay, so let's take a few steps forward.
All right.
Okay, and we're going to take a step back in the front stance. So why don't we put your left leg in front?
Front.
Okay, with a good front stance, we have a good distance between our feet, and Jay's going to take a few steps back in the front stance position.
All right, so he steps back.
Good. Now again, always make sure you have distance between both feet. Again, if you don't, you might topple over, and we don't want to fall over. Us?
I'm okay.
He's okay, don't worry. So let's take one more step back.
All right. One more step.
Good. Always make sure your body's up straight. He's not leaning forward. He's not leaning to the side. He has good body posture. His base is sound. Us?
Us.
Okay. And so when we finish any kind of exercise or technique, we'll say the word yame, which is basically stop, or just basically stop what you're doing. So yame. And we come back to our ready stance, which is basically os.
Us.
Good. So anytime we finish a certain activity, we want to say a nice, strong os, just to make sure the sensei, the instructor, knows that we have completed what we're doing. Just keep in mind, instructor or teacher, we say sensei in Japanese. Os?
Us.
Os. Sensei. Okay. Moving forward, we're going to practice that front stance together this time. Okay, so this time we'll start with the right leg in front. Take one more step forward. And then out. Now, he's going to try stepping backwards in the same movement.
Okay.
Now, make sure when you're stepping backwards, you still end up with a front stance. Basically, that means keeping the lead leg bent. If you look down, you shouldn't really be able to see your toes. If you do, you got to push that knee a little bit further in front. Us?
Us.
Okay, so we'll only take one more step back.
All right.
In the front stance? All right.
So it's here.
Us.
Us.
Now, just make sure when you're in this front stance, the back foot, the heel is not off the floor, it's down. Us?
Us.
Okay, so let's take a few steps forward.
All right.
Okay, and we're going to take a step back in the front stance. So why don't we put your left leg in front?
Front.
Okay, with a good front stance, we have a good distance between our feet, and Jay's going to take a few steps back in the front stance position.
All right, so he steps back.
Good. Now again, always make sure you have distance between both feet. Again, if you don't, you might topple over, and we don't want to fall over. Us?
I'm okay.
He's okay, don't worry. So let's take one more step back.
All right. One more step.
Good. Always make sure your body's up straight. He's not leaning forward. He's not leaning to the side. He has good body posture. His base is sound. Us?
Us.
Okay. And so when we finish any kind of exercise or technique, we'll say the word yame, which is basically stop, or just basically stop what you're doing. So yame. And we come back to our ready stance, which is basically os.
Us.
Good. So anytime we finish a certain activity, we want to say a nice, strong os, just to make sure the sensei, the instructor, knows that we have completed what we're doing. Just keep in mind, instructor or teacher, we say sensei in in Japanese? Os?
Os.
Os. Sensei. Okay. Moving forward, we're going to practice that front stance together this time. Okay, so this time we'll start with the right leg in front, left leg behind.
Right leg in front, left leg behind.
Good. Again, keep a few things in mind. The distance between both feet, making sure you're not leaning forward or to the side. Let's try putting our hands on our hips for now. That way we have a better feel of how we're moving forward, how our body is moving forward in our environment. So let's take, say, 2 steps forward in a front stance and then 2 steps back. Os?
Os.
Okay.
So, 1, 2.
Good. And now 2 steps back.
All right. 1. All right, and 2.
Good. Good. You see? There's always a little bit of room for improvement, so don't feel bad if you're having trouble keeping your balance. We all start somewhere and we have to keep going up in terms of progress. So just make sure you take your time. Don't get frustrated if it's taking a little bit too long for you to understand it or get the hang of it. Just keep practicing and you will get this. This is how we all start. Os?
Os.
Okay. So also keep in mind that when whether we're moving forward or backwards, we don't want to keep coming up and down in our movements. Halfway through, when our feet are together, we should still have them both, our knees bent. So that way we're not coming up and down like a big yo-yo. You don't want to look silly, right?
No.
Os. So let's try practicing that same thing again. Stepping forward in the front stance, we'll have our left leg in front for now.
Left leg in front.
Now remember, halfway in the movement, when our legs are together, both of our knees should still be bent. So that way we're not coming up and down in the transition of moving forward or backwards.
All right.
So let's try this slowly together. Good, very good. And one more. Good. Now let's take 2 steps back. Good, nice and slow. Good, and yame.
Os.
Good. So again, if you're having a little bit of trouble with your balance, just look down, see how far apart your feet are. If they're too close together, space them out a little bit more. Again, always make sure the heel of the back leg is down at all times in the front stance. The front leg, the knee should be pushed out enough so that way when you look down, you can't see your toes. Os?
Os.
Okay, so why don't we add a basic block to this technique, front stance. We're going to add the overhead block. So first, I'm going to demonstrate the block. We're starting in the front stance. Our hand, my left arm is up. Make sure it's at an angle, not totally straight, not blocking your eyes because obviously we want to see where we're going. Os?
Os.
Okay, so we're going to take 1 step forward together, just like this, watching me carefully. My other hand, my right hand, which is next to my hip, which we call our chamber, crosses in front of our tummy halfway and comes upward. It stops right above our forehead, at an angle again. Os?
Os.
Okay, so let's take 1 more step forward, nice and slow. Hand comes across the tummy, and we stop here. Now, we're going to take 2 steps back. Same exact motion. 1 more step. Okay, so now I'm going to have Jade just demonstrate the same movements again. So we'll just start with your left leg in front.
Okay. Left leg in front.
Left hand right above your forehead at a nice angle. Right hand next to his hip, which we call the chamber. This is our ready position for the hand because we never know if we might need to use it for a reverse punch or another block. Os?
Os.
Okay, so nice and slow. Let's try to do this together. Stepping forward. Remember the hand crosses in front of the tummy. And when you step forward, it's in a blocking position. Make sure the hand that's in the blocking position, your knuckles are facing towards you. We don't want to have it the other way around. This is not good. Right here. Os?
Os.
So let's take 1 step forward together. Now let's take 2 steps back, nice and slow. Good. Again, make sure your feet are shoulder width apart. You want to have enough balance because you don't want to fall over. One more step back. Okay, and yame. Strong stance. So again, the os is a very strong confirmation of that we acknowledge that we know what we're doing, what we understand what we're doing, and basically we sometimes finish a certain exercise or technique. Os. Okay, high five. Okay. Now, any questions? Excellent. So, how do we basically know when we chamber the hand? Good question. Make sure when you're in that front stance, the hand should always be by the hip. For now, we'll keep it around here. Again, make sure when you're stepping forward, you know what, we can actually try the same blocking technique in a hachidachi stance. If you're wondering what this hachidachi means, again, it's the ready stance. So let's try this together. Jay's going to stand in a hachidachi stance. Os. Okay, so notice, his feet are about shoulder width apart. Strong posture, back straight, is very focused. Now, he's going to practice the same blocking technique. He's going to have one arm, his left arm for now, up. His right hand on the chamber. Without moving forward, he's going to stay right there, and he's going to demonstrate the same blocks. The hand coming across the belly and coming up and stop right above the forehead. Okay, so let's do actually 10 more together. For now, we're going to count in English, and then I'm going to show you how to count in Japanese. So we'll count in English at first. Here we go. 1. Good. Now make sure every time the hand that's on the chamber, whichever one it is, it crosses in front of the belly and then comes up. Okay, let's continue. 2. 3. 4. Also keep in mind you want to focus on your breathing. Don't hold your breath. If you hold your breath, you can get tired faster. It's very important that you emphasize your breathing, whether you're kicking, punching, or blocking. Let's continue. 5. 6. 7. 8. 9. 10. Aloud. Os at the end. Os! Very good. So let's try this one more time, but this time we're going to count in Japanese. Exactly from the beginning to the end, from 1 to 10. Os. Os. Okay, same thing. We're going to start with the left hand in the ready position, right hand in the chamber. So, it might sound a little bit odd. You'll get the hang of it once we start working on it and repeating it together. So just listen carefully as best as you can. Here we go. Ich, ni, san, shi, go, ro, sich, hach, ku, ju. Don't forget the os at the end. Os. And yame. Os. Okay, good job, guys. Now try your best to practice that same basic stance with the same overhead block. If you want, you can try with the front stance, but I recommend doing it in the ready stance first. That way you get more comfortable with the movements. Then when you feel more comfortable, you can use it with the front stance moving backwards and forwards. Just keep in mind what we said earlier. The half moon movements. Or if you want to think about it as a banana shape. Just don't slip on any banana peels. Os? Os! Okay, guys. So, for the next lesson, we're going to talk a little bit more on our lead hand punches and our reverse punches. So stay tuned for Ikama's next lesson plan. Os? Os. Okay, guys. Great job, and remember, if you're having trouble, feel free to send some questions, email. Just, again, keep practicing as much as you can, because the way you get better, just like with homework at school, you have to keep working at it. Os? Os. Okay, so first, we're going to face each other. Feet together, hands at our sides, remember? Os. And bow to each other, and os. Okay, good job, everyone. And remember, practice. Os. Os. Okay.
Yay!
Very good.
We're back. Yay!
Oh,
So this is called what stance? Okay? Left knee is in front, it's bent, the right leg is straight. Let me show you from another angle. What is this stance called? Okay, remember, try to write down your answer on a piece of paper. Now, second question. Which leg is in front? Remember, write down your answer on a piece of paper. Which leg is in front? Question 3. How do you say which leg is in front in Japanese? It's a tough one, isn't it? It's okay, remember. Don't panic, relax, just try your best. Remember, write on a piece of paper. Now, which leg is in front now? Now remember, I want you to write your answer in English and in Japanese if you can. If you can't, it's okay. Just try your best. Remember, endeavor. Keep trying. Okay? Now, what stance is this? Okay? Let me show you from another angle. So try to write it down in English and in Japanese if you can. Don't worry if you're not able to spell it correctly, just try your best. One more time. What's the name of this dance? Kind of looks like I'm writing a certain type of animal. There's your clue. What kind of animal can you ride? Well, there's quite a few.